Hi, I'm Mr. Sam, the allotment man, and this is my allotment. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. Now, today we're going to have a look around my allotment and we'll see how it's getting on. And also, we're going to do some work. Today we're going to do some path work. So, stay tuned and let's see how we get on. So, here we are, the rest of the path. Obviously not done yet, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get the boards in, stake them down. We haven't got any bark chippings to fill, but when they come, there'll be somewhere for them to go. Just a quick little tip, when you're putting your stakes in to fit the boards, put a little angle on it like this, knock it in like that, and it'll nip up against the board. Little tip from me. There you go. Here we are then, here are my brassicas. I've put up a net, don't know if you can see that just there, and some posts. And I've put in my cauliflowers and my Brussels sprouts. And I've been donated some cabbages because I forgot to plant some. So there we are, it's looking quite nice now. So we'll keep an eye on them over the next few months and hopefully the caterpillars won't eat them. Brassicas. Right then, I've obviously been up to quite a lot since I've made my last film. And these are my sweet corn. If you don't know anything about sweet corn, like me, you should ask someone about it. So I did. I asked Paul, the allotment god, and he told me you have to plant your sweet corn in blocks like this because they are self-pollinating. They need to shake in the wind, and then their pollen falls from the top of the plant to the bottom of the plant. But for you to be able to pollinate properly, you need them in blocks so the pollen goes all over the place. All right, so it pollinates each different plant. So remember, plant your sweet corn in blocks like this, and hopefully you should get something to eat in a few months' time. I don't really eat sweet corn, a bit like the apples really, but I'm going to try them this year, because if you don't try them, what's the point in growing them? So there you are, sweet corn. Right, here we are at our blackcurrant bush. In fact, I'd sort of forgotten about this, because it's in a bit of a rubbish part of the plot. If you can have a look closely here, here are all the berries. They're coming. They haven't been attacked by any birds yet because of course it's been guarded by a wind bird scarer. So we're going to watch these quite closely. It's quite exciting actually, seeing something grow in the allotment. So there we are. There's my blackcurrant bush. Right, here we are back with the onions. They're looking really good now, getting quite big. We've got a double one over here. I'm not sure if that's a good thing to have or not, but I'm going to save it, see how it turns out. Weeding, a little bit of a problem down here. We get a lot of mare's tail, but I've been told it's not a great problem. It won't affect the plants. It can just take over, so I keep on nipping it out the top. I have done some weed killing, like allotment god Paul told me to, just nip it out and dab it on. I've done that and it has killed off some of it. So I'm going to do a bit more of that today. But all in all, the onions are looking great. And so's the garlic, I think. I'm not sure what garlic's supposed to look like still, but it looks a bit like this at the moment. So there we are. There's my onions and my garlic all going strong. Well done. Yeah. Right, what a difference a couple of weeks makes. Look at this, everybody. These are my early potatoes and they're coming up really nicely. Despite the fine tilth, they're fighting their way through. And hopefully we should get a good crop. I seem to be missing one or two plants, but I'm not too worried about that. They obviously didn't quite take. But yeah, they're looking great. Obviously a bit of weeding to do, but other from that, I think potatoes are going really well. And the same for the lates. I'm not going to show you them because they look exactly the same as the earlies, to be honest. But potatoes are going really, really well. Let's have a look at the apple trees. So here we are with the apple trees. They've blossomed and they're starting to grow apples, which is amazing. I know they're apple trees and you're supposed to get apples on apple trees, but I've never grown apples before, so this is good stuff. We've got some apples here. We'll have a close look at them in a moment, but they're going really well. They're the Worcester Pearmans, and these are the Coxes. This is from my mum and dad from a garden centre. This is from B&Q. They both seem to be doing really well. So there are my apples. Here we are then at the runner beans. They're looking really good. I was a little bit worried about them because the leaves were going white. Apparently this is down to lack of nitrogen. So I put a little bit of fertiliser in there, a little bit of Grow More, watered it in, and it seems to have made a difference, and they're shooting up now. Obviously a little bit more weeding to do, but don't worry about that. So there you go, the runner beans. Everything's looking great. Here we are, back at my pile of wood. You might have noticed I've tidied up my pile of wood. It's now a tidy pile of wood. Today's pile of wood is going to hopefully turn into a new path. We're going to do that a little bit later on. We've still got our water butt here. It still hasn't got any water in it, but hopefully by the end of today we're going to have that set up. Lots of people have got piles of wood, and people have told me about their piles of wood, but I haven't seen them. So if you want to show me your pile of wood, just email it to mrsamtheallotmentman@gmail.com, and I'll try and show them in our next episode. So piles of wood, what do you do with them? I'm going to make a path. So it's time to put the tomatoes in. I'm having 5 plants this year. One of them's a normal tomato plant, and the others are cherry tomato plants. We eat them quite a lot. So first of all, I'm putting them in buckets because my earth is not very good, not very fertile. So I've put some, what do you call it, grow bag in here. So basically I'm going to dig a hole. There we are. As you know, my way of doing things is bung it in the ground and see what happens. So here we are. There's my tomato. I've been told by Mr. Paul just to loosen up the root ball just a little bit. I'll do. Shove it in and then plant it with about 1 inch up the stem. There we go. So that's gone in there. By the way, I didn't grow these tomato plants. Yet again, Paul, the allotment god, has given them to me. So thank you very much, Paul. So there we are. That's in there. Tomato plant planted. Got the cane in there, wired up, all ready to go. So we've planted our tomatoes, and now I've set up my drip feeder system that we've made, and I showed you in our first allotment film, I think. But it's now dripping away nicely, and so hopefully I'll only have to water them every 2 days, 3 days at the very most. But they're dripping nicely, and I think you'll agree it all works. So we'll keep an eye on our tomatoes and see how they do. Right, I don't know if you remember, we've also got peppers in here. I've taken them out of their small pots and I put them in their big ones. Hopefully this will be their final pots. Dripper system in there. It's been dripping for about a couple of hours now, and it seems to be doing its job. So fingers crossed we'll have some peppers to eat very soon. And I don't know if you remember, but we did have a bug scaring scheme, okay, or a deterrent in the shape of a marrow. It wasn't working very well, so I've upgraded to something more scary. Have a look at this. Look at those eyebrows. They're enough to scare any bugs away. So new bug deterrent. We'll see how he fares up. Right, here we are then with Paul, the allotment god. He's going to tell us about tomato growing. Now, if he doesn't know about tomato growing, nobody does. So, hi Paul, how are you doing?
Hi Sam, hi Matt.
Very good. Now, I've just put some tomatoes into my greenhouse in the pots you supplied. In fact, they were the tomato plants you supplied as well, which is very generous of you. Thank you very much. So, what should we do with our tomatoes once we've planted them? Should we water them?
Yeah, you always water them straight away. As soon as you've got all your plants in,
right.
what I tend to find is a drop of maxi crop.
Maxi crop?
Maxi crop. Always on a first watering. Gives them a little bit of a kick.
Right.
Helps water them in, and it's a good feed.
Okay.
You can go right over the top with them because it's a foliar feed as well.
Right. Where would we get maxi crop from?
Well, mainly, most garden stores will sell them. I mean, obviously on the site we're on, we provide it here, like type thing. But
okay.
Any good gardening shop will sell it. Like
brilliant.
That. It's yeah, more or less anywhere really.
What I was actually getting at is, have you got any to lend me?
So I thought that would be coming.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Okay, nice one. Okay then, right. So we've done our watering. We've put our maxi crop in.
Yeah.
When do we start feeding it with? Is it Tomorite?
Yeah. Tomorite is your next feed. What I tend to do is I tend to once a week with maxi crop until once your first truss comes on, and just that's when you start feeding with your tamarite. Once a week again, only a capful in a watering can.
Yep.
That's all you need. You can water over the top, but if you do, make sure you water some water over the top to wash off the leaves, because it can, doesn't always, but it can bend.
Okay then. When you say first truss, what do we mean by first truss?
As soon as you see, as you can see on mine now, look, you've got the flowers there.
Yep.
As soon as that first truss, you see tiny little tomatoes.
All right.
As soon as they're on, that's when you feed.
Okay.
And again, only once a week, because you can overfeed, it's a waste, type of thing, and then you just progress as you go on.
Great.
Another main thing there is obviously depending on the size, is you must take your suckers out as well, which
Right.
is just between the leaf joint there. As your leaf comes out, just on the joint there.
Yeah. Just pinch them out.
Just pinch them out, and it stops them going all bushy, because what you're doing then is the plant is putting all its energy into making the fruit,
Yeah.
rather than loads of leaves.
And of course, these days we don't like anything bushy.
No,
No.
it just makes it hard work for yourself, because what you'll find is you'll just end up with loads of leaves and not many fruit.
Okay, then nice one. Okay, well, thanks very much. That's Paul, the allotment god, telling us what to do with our tomatoes. We'll come back and see how your tomatoes are getting on later on in the year.
No worries.
Thanks very much.
Spot on. Okay, Sam.
So there we have it, my day down at the allotment. I hope you've all enjoyed it. We've done some weeding and we have done some path making. We've done things in the greenhouse like planting tomatoes and peppers. And of course we've had tips from our allotment god, Paul. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it and I'll see you again soon. Remember, subscribe and have a look at some of my other videos and we'll see you very soon. And remember, happy growing.